you would do simple statistic. What's the most location that was a product sold at, for example.
Yeah.
So specialized algorithm, when I say that, it's the machine learning, which machine learning is actually glorified statistics.
Yep.
So it has its root in statistics, but it's a quite advanced statistic. When I say advanced statistic in machine learning, so the introduction of the neural network, like perceptrons, I would say, is the first neural network that was introduced in the 60s.
All right, before we go further, because I like where this is going.
Cool.
Explain to us briefly what a neural network is.
So neural network, artificial neural network, I would say, is an attempt to model the neuron in the human brain.
Nice.
So there was this scientist from, I think, the 60s. They were impressed, of course, by the human brain. And there was always an attempt to try and make artificial brain,
yes.
right? And the attempt was started by modeling this neuron. So by studying how the neurons in the human brain works,
yep.
How can we model that? How can we convert that to mathematics? So, and this is where the first neural network appeared. It was a very simple neural network. Perceptron, it borrowed concepts from mathematics to try and simulate a neuron activated, for example. So they built this neural network that is able to learn. When I say it's able to learn, it means that it's able to find mathematical representation of what it's trying to learn. So it's trying to model how the neuron in the human brain works in mathematics.
Yep.
And this was the start of artificial intelligence.
And this was in the 60s?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. So this has been a long time coming, pretty much.
Yeah. So it was in the 60s. They came up with the perceptrons, and then nobody really. The development of artificial intelligence was extremely slow.
Yep.
Because the model that came up is a very simple model that is one neuron, meaning one representation of neuron, and one neuron is not able to learn anything. That's so true. If you've got one neuron, then you, for example, if you've got that neuron would have, let's say, 1,000 parameters. What I mean 1,000 parameters is that when you want to train that neuron, you need to do 1,000 mathematical operations.
Yep.
And 1,000 was quite a large number for the computers that were
that time.
Out of that time. So it was quite very slow progress until the computers are now very powerful.
Yeah.
Like the iPhone and then the computers and now the GPUs.
Yes.
And then once this hardware infrastructure really progressed very fast, then the scientists said, okay, now we can have 2 neurons, for example. We can have 3 neurons. Now we can have multi-layered neuron, where the number of operations and parameters jumps from 1,000 operations to billions at the moment. And now when you have these all neurons lined up and connected, then you're able to model more complex mathematical equations. Therefore, you're also able to model more complex patterns and for example, images or videos or text as well. So it's more about the progress in the hardware that really pushed the theory part.
Yeah, I've there's quite a bit there, especially in terms of, because I've been listening a little bit to the rise of NVIDIA of late, especially when it comes to GPUs and how they pretty much donned the name GPU themselves, so they took it for themselves. Much to the disgust of Intel. But what happened with them, from my understanding, is that they initially were for gamers.
Correct.
And essentially, I think some kid who was a gamer, his father was like a scientist or was working on some quantum computing project, and essentially he told his father, look, why don't you try out these GPUs? They'll, improve your runtime, especially, when you're training models. Anyway.